Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Red Sky Alliance weekly threat brief for August 19th. My name is Matt Widener, and I'm a cyber engineer and analyst with Red Sky Alliance. Let's go ahead and get started with today's brief. On the agenda for today, we're going to briefly discuss the Revolt attack that could be used to decrypt 4G LTE voice call content. We will then cover open source and social media events, and then go over 7 days of trending, including the latest APT activities, botnet activity, cloud security, blacklists, and keylogger activity.
Matt, are you there?
Oh, yep, sorry. Had my mute on. An implementation flaw in the voice over LTE mobile communications protocol was unveiled at the 29th Usenix Security Conference last week. University researchers discovered that encryption keys are reused by the base station if a mobile device initiates or receives 2 phone calls within a short time window. Reuse of the encryption keys allows an attacker to recover the encryption key that was used during an attacker-initiated phone call with a victim, and then use that key to decrypt the victim's previous phone call. For example, in this diagram, Alice places a secret phone call to Bob, and during this call, an attacker, Eve, is recording the encrypted data stream between Alice's phone and the base station using a sniffer device. When the sniffer device detects that Alice and Bob's phone call has ended, the attacker, Eve, has configured it to automatically call Alice within a short required, within the required short time window. Eve then records both the unencrypted and encrypted data streams of her own phone call to Alice. These two data streams can then be mathematically combined using an exclusive OR operation to recover the encryption key. The recovered encryption key can then be used to decrypt the secret phone call between Alice and Bob. For the attack to be successful, Alice and Eve must be connected to the same base station or cell tower that Alice and Bob were for the duration of both phone calls. Switching towers in the middle of a phone call changes the encryption key stream and will prevent Eve from recovering a usable decryption key. The attack also requires specialized hardware to sniff the radio traffic between the base station and the user devices, and the authors estimate the cost for such equipment at only $7,000 US, which puts this attack within the realm of possibility for a wide range of attacker types and not just state-sponsored APTs. In their white paper, they also point out that the root cause here is with the 4G LTE specification that recommends encryption keys not be reused, but does not require it. The authors also point out that this same issue most likely exists for currently deployed 5G networks, since they are similar to the existing 4G specification. And lastly, since this vulnerability exists at the base station level, it will be up to mobile carriers to fix the problem. And the author suggests several mitigations that base station manufacturers could use to fix this, but they could increase network latency during call initiation. In open source and social media, Citrix recently reported 2 critical vulnerabilities in their Citrix endpoint management product, also known as Zen Mobile Server. Affected versions are shown here on the slide. Exploiting these vulnerabilities would allow an attacker to read sensitive configuration files and encryption keys that protect sensitive data. Some of the configuration files that could be read typically contain credentials for external services used by the software, such as LDAP domain accounts, corporate email, VPN, web applications, and database servers. Citrix recommends immediately installing the latest security patches for these vulnerabilities. Next slide, please.
You don't want to scroll?
Go ahead and go to the next slide. There we go. Thank you. The Emotet malware was back in the news recently after binary defense researcher James Quinn developed a kill switch that prevents the malware from infecting a system. His PowerShell script, dubbed EmoCrash, exploits a buffer overflow vulnerability in the malware's installation process to do two things. One, it would prevent Emotet from installing itself on a system that was not already infected. And two, it would prevent an already infected system from contacting command and control servers. EmoCrash was quietly distributed among the cyber community beginning in February to avoid tipping off the Emotet group that the vulnerability in their malware existed. However, the victory was short-lived when on August 6th, the malware authors patched the issue. Carnival Corporation this week reported a breach of their IT systems, resulting in data theft. And although the details of the attack were not released, the company suspects personal data of guests and employees was stolen. The report also stated that ransomware was detected that encrypted some of their IT systems belonging to one of their brands. The data theft in combination with the ransomware attack may suggest that the attackers will try to collect ransoms on both the encrypted data and the stolen data. However, no demands have been made public at this time. Carnival continues to investigate the breach with the help of law enforcement. Recent gray noise activity shows two Iranian communications companies arriving in the top 5 this week, while the share of malicious IPs is slightly down again from prior reporting. ChinaNet Backbone and VNPT dropped to number 2 and 3, while the mobile communication company of Iran rose to the number 1 spot. Those top 3 are followed by Data Communications Business Group, Iran Cell Service and Communication Company, and China Unicom. SMB Scanner and Eternal Blue remain at the top 2 detections as per previous reporting. However, Mirai rose to 3rd place, pushing the SSH scanner to 4th, followed by Telnet Scanner. In the last 2 weeks, we recorded approximately 28 million fresh indicators and breached data lines as listed above. These collections include our threat recon, keylogger, malicious emails, and sinkhole traffic, OSINT, botnet, and breach data collections. The numbers on this slide show the indicators in the respective collections. Selected indicators are available to paid Red Sky Alliance members weekly, as well as our blacklists, which come in CSV, FortiSIM, and Proofpoint formats. Here we see the APT and botnet indicators collected in the last 2 weeks by our sinkhole collection. We had 1,510 new unique APT indicators in the past 14 days. You can use your two-factor authentication to log into CTAC to download the APT indicators discussed today. Please contact us on Slack or via email for any assistance. On the right here, you can see our top sinkhole statistics sorted by malware type. Sality and CoreCow are again at the top 2. BetaBot moved Loki from the 3rd place down to the 4th. Spamhaus botnet activity remains consistent, with ChinaNet, Bharti Airtel, and VNPT maintaining the top 3 positions. However, Red Sky Alliance data shows AS12025, IO Capital Princess in the number 1 position, TOT Public Company in the number 2 spot, and Triple T Internet 3rd. The discrepancy between Spamhaus and Red Sky Alliance reporting is likely due to our differing network views of botnet activity. In cloud security, we see botnet activity consistent with prior trending. Microsoft is back in 1st place, bumping Peak 10 to number 2, while Amazon, Alibaba, and GoDaddy round out the top 5. Based on current botnet detections, ONR and SharkTech remain in caution status, with HE.com again rated at lower risk. Past 2 weeks in trending malicious emails, we mostly see generic phishing Trojan detections. However, we see some subject lines related to financial topics this week. Sender impersonation and target organizations have been difficult to determine due to the redaction of sender and target domains, but we do continue to see Kraber.de targeted, along with DiamondFilms.com, a Latin American film distributor, and TSPco.kr, which is a Korean company specializing in equipment manufacturing for the marine, transportation, and the oil and gas industries. And TSPco.kr is the only sender domain of it visible this week. Our blacklists are published weekly. Here you can see some of our keylogger indicators. Last week, we observed 47,658 sinkhole connections from new unique IP addresses and 15 unique email accounts compromised by keyloggers. Please go to redskyalliance.org to inquire for additional support, complete blacklists, red X-ray, and API access. Thank you all for joining us today. Please visit our Red Sky Alliance portal at redskyalliance.org for additional cyber intelligence reporting. And if you have any questions regarding the topics briefed today, please get in touch with Jay McKee at wapaklabs.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you all again for our next brief on September 2nd.